NCAA basketball totals for Monday, January 2nd. This is where we're going to go ahead and look at 3 games and look at the total set by odds makers and try to beat that total, either going over or under what they set. We also have our NBA segment out there as well. And we always want to mention, as always, don't forget to check out SBR Sportsbook Review, where we have a lot of sign-up bonuses. The blacklist, sportsbooks you got to avoid, sportsbooks that you can sign up with that are reputable, that you won't have a problem with, and just a lot of good stuff there. All the odds, all the numbers, a ton of articles. It's all free. YouTube channel, Facebook page. I mean, just go ahead and check it out. And that's us. That's Sportsbook Review. All right, let's look at some totals in college basketball today. Not a heavy slate of games, and not like the most compelling matchups. A lot of mid-majors clashing, but let's go ahead and let's dive in. Let's see what I got with the numbers here. NCAA basketball, rough day yesterday, but overall it's been going pretty well. And a lot of upsets yesterday too. That was a little bit surprising. Let's go ahead. Let's get some totals. All right, here we go. We got Monmouth and St. Peter's. Oddsmakers have it at 140.5. St. Peter's has played some D this year, and I'm going under. When we look at the last few times these teams have met, okay. Well, for the most part, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 6 times they've met up where we've had actual totals on this game. I mean, they didn't play for several years, between like 2009 and 2014. But this is the biggest total that oddsmakers have ever set between these two teams at 140.5. Now, last time they matched up, 82-75, Monmouth win. But both teams are actually playing some pretty decent defense this year, especially St. Peter's. That's a pretty good defensive squad. And I'll tell you why. Let's look at their stats right here. St. Peter's so far on the year defensively, they've been solid. And this game's at home. But right now, they're allowing just 66 points per game. That ranks in the top 50 in the country. And they're not scoring a lot, just 64.8 points per game. Monmouth, this is why the total set so high. It's because of Monmouth. They're averaging 80.6 points per game. That's a pretty good Monmouth team. And they're allowing 76.6. But again, the game's at St. Peter's. So that's why I like for them to control the pace. Right now, St. Peter's, they really don't allow opponents to get up and down the floor. They're allowing opponents to get up just 52.3 attempts per game. That's really low. Monmouth is just the opposite. So we have one of those games. We had this a few days ago, and where we were 0-3 in the NBA, where we just had really conflicting styles of play. But in this matchup for college, although Monmouth is a good scoring team, St. Peter's is not. I mean, they're shooting under 40%. Their defense is going to have to win this game. I think they're going to control the pace. And Monmouth, percentage-wise, I mean, they're not bad. They're allowing opponents to shoot 41.8% from the floor. That ranks in top 100 teams out of over 300 NCAA teams. So that 140.5. Although it's the highest set by odds makers, I don't think they get there. So I'm going to go ahead, in their history at least, in their most recent history, I don't think they get there. So I'm going to go ahead and back under the total between Monmouth and St. Peter's. Actually, all my plays today are under, just to let you know. All right, next one, we got Iona and Fairfield. Now, Iona's been an over team since I can remember. They've always really got up and down the floor. But let's go ahead and let's look at this matchup here with Fairfield. Odds makers have it at 156. And I think that's going to be a little bit too much because right now, although these two teams can score, their defensive percentages are not that bad. You have a Fairfield team, and their offensive percentages are not that bad. But Fairfield and Iona both rank in the top 100 in opponent shooting efficiency and effective field goal percentage, or right about there. Fairfield ranks a little bit outside that type 100 in opponent effective field goal percentage. However, their shooting percentages overall are not that great, with Iona shooting under 44% from the floor and Fairfield shooting just around 44%. Not that great. Tempo is going to be probably decently fast, which is a little bit concerning, but that's 156, and that's really high. And let me tell you why, even more so why I like this to stay under that total. So we look at the last couple times they've matched up. Since they matched up twice since December of last year. 101-77. Iona won. Iona beat Fairfield back in 2015. Then the last matchup back in January of 2016. Sorry, so that's a year ago now because it's New Year. 98-91. And the totals on that were 166.5 and 171. And they went over on both of those. Now, odds makers have this total set at 156. Much, much lower than what we've seen out of the last two times. And I think there's a reason for that. I think it's just too many points with two teams that are not tremendous percentage-wise as far as scoring the basketball. So I'm going to go ahead and back under that 156 in a game that's going to be pretty fast. I just don't think they get to 156. A little bit too much. And the last one up, Rice and Charlotte. Both teams get up and down the floor. Oddsmakers have it at 168. That is huge. And if we look at their past totals, they've all been really high. Look at their last three totals set by Oddsmakers: 161.5, 163.5, and 159.5. They've gone under the last two times they've matched up. So that 168 is absolutely ridiculous. It is way too high, and I just don't think they're going to get there. So let's look at some statistics here. Sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit. All right, Rice is averaging 82.1 points per game. They're ranked 29th in the country. Charlotte's averaging 76.6 points per game. Now, why it's 168? Because their defensive scoring defense and their percentages are not that great. Charlotte is allowing 80.2 points per game. That's ridiculous. Rice is allowing 75.5 points per game. This game looks like on paper it's going to get over 170. But hold on. When we get to their attempts, now Rice has been pretty efficient, but these two teams, despite their scoring, are not really that fast. And that 168, they're going to have to go fast, have tempo, and make all their shots. I just think it's too much. They're going to score a lot, but that 168, kind of reminds me of that Washington State-Washington matchup yesterday, where I took the over around the same number, because traditionally they've gone over that total and they go really fast, and the tempo was there, but they just couldn't hit it percentage-wise because, we're talking about league play now where teams step up defensively. Rice is averaging 56.8 attempts per game. That ranks outside the top 200 teams. Not really fast. They've been scoring like crazy, though. However, this game is on the road in Charlotte. Charlotte, they're averaging 60 attempts per game. Fast, but not super fast. And on the other side, you got a Rice team. They don't allow a lot of tempo either. So although they've been scoring like crazy, Charlotte's a pretty decent team, semi-okay. So I just don't think it's going to get to that 168. That's a lot of points with two teams, or one team in particular in Rice, that really doesn't go that fast. And I think you're going to have two teams go pretty fast to get over, or they're just going to have to knock down everything they put up. And I don't think that's going to happen in this matchup. All right, recap. This was a tough day. I will say right now, just to let you guys know, because we got to be honest with our assessments here. We do have a winning record in NCAA hoops. However, this was the toughest day for me on making picks. And I did a ton of research on these teams because I'm not super familiar with them. And I've been digging into a lot of stuff. I mean, I know, the leagues are in and I understand their head coaches and their philosophies and that stuff. But I haven't watched them a ton this year. So I just want to make that disclaimer. But I really dug into, I did a ton of research and I think I'm on top of these. So I just want to let you guys know about that. All right, we got Monmouth and St. Peter's under the 140.5 with a St. Peter's team that's playing some really good defense. Monmouth can play good D too. Iona and Fairfield, I'm going under the 156. Just too many points and two teams that can get up and down the floor, much like this next game, but I just don't think they're going to get there. And finally, Rice and Charlotte, again, under the 168, just way too many points. They're going to have to shoot lights out to get there, and I don't think they do. Those are our three NCAA basketball picks, and I'm just, again, like my NBA one, I just got to cut it off, or I'll just try and talk forever about these guys. I wish you luck on your picks today.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.